Hi, and welcome to yet another episode of Field Engineering. I'm your host, JD Brake, and with me today is Elijah Montgomery, one of our pro customer service engineers, and also is very, very well versed in the field of HVAC. And Elijah, first of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. We're going to talk about a product that every contractor should have on their truck, an absolute lifesaver. And this is the wireless relay from IO HVAC Systems.
That's right, the IOWR.
The IOWR. Now, besides just the obvious of not wanting to pull wire, what are some of the great benefits from having this as kind of like a safety net for the contractor?
Sure. So this product is actually it's a really good product just to have as a truck stock product.
Yeah.
Like every HVAC contractor should have this on their truck.
Yeah.
It can really pull you out of a jam. So there's basically two primary reasons it exists. And it's really designed around sending 24-volt signals, 24-volt AC on-off signals between an indoor unit and a condensing unit outside.
Right.
So what this allows you to do is, one, if you have a broken wire situation,
Sure.
where you have a broken wire for some reason between indoor unit and outdoor unit, instead of pulling new wire, which can be very time-consuming or near impossible.
Right.
In some cases, instead of pulling a wire, this is going to allow you to just set up a module on the inside, module on the outside with a 24-volt transformer, and then send that signal wirelessly. The other use case is with an equipment upgrade. So if you have, if you're just using standard, say single-stage air conditioner, you've only got two wires typically going out to your outdoor unit. You got your Y, your call for cooling, and you have a common. When you upgrade, if you're going to say a two-stage heat pump, you're going to have a Y1, Y2 reversing valve, a common, and you're a lot of times going to have a W signal, which is it's a defrost signal coming back from the outdoor unit.
Gotcha.
So you might have up to 5 wires working there. So
Okay.
So upgrading from a 2-wire to a 5-wire rather than pulling a new wire, you can use these.
Awesome. Now, it is wireless, so of course, with any wireless product, there's also a chance of not getting them connected. So
Sure.
I think that's why I brought you on today, to kind of help diagnose or help solve those issues if for whatever reason these two pieces aren't connecting.
Sure. Yeah. So being wireless, they are subject to pesky things like the laws of physics and so forth. So
physics.
Yeah. So there's certain things that are going to affect a wireless signal, and that is pretty much going to be universal for anything that's wireless. Really, the differences on wireless is how strong the signal is and what frequency they're operating on.
Okay.
So with these, under normal usage, if everything's working right, they should be operating just as we see them right here. So they'll be showing a green light, and then every so often you see right there, it'll flicker a red light.
I saw that, yeah.
Now
So we got the base module
the
here?
base module over here, which would typically be installed indoors.
Okay.
And the satellite module over here, which would typically be installed outdoors.
Okay.
So when you see that red flicker, one, that's a confirmation signal. That only happens when basically a handshake signal sent from one unit to the other, and they get a confirmation back. So that tells you definitely there is a communication there.
Gotcha.
And the number of red flashes you get is going to be the signal strength indicator. So it's kind of like your bars of signal on your cell phone, right?
Yeah.
It's 1 to 5. So 5 being the strongest signal, 1 being the weakest signal. So if you hook them up and you've only got one red blip there, you're kind of borderline maybe with your signal strength. And there's a few things we can do about that. If you're having trouble linking them, or if you have a really poor signal, there's a few things we can look at to try to improve that.
Okay.
So being wireless, first of all, wireless signals are heavily subject to any metal. All right.
Okay.
Metal of any kind is going to tend to reflect wireless signals.
Right.
All right. So the two things that are most common when we have people hooking these up and they say they're having trouble connecting them or keeping them connected, the two most common things is having the indoor unit mounted right on the side of the furnace or have it mounted right on the ductwork.
Right.
You cannot have this mounted directly on metal. That will actually have the effect of kind of reflecting the signal away from it, which will prevent you from having a good strong signal. So when at all possible, you want to get this off the metal and over onto a wall.
Okay.
That's the first thing on the indoor unit. The second thing is a lot of times people want to put the outdoor unit inside the condensing unit, which makes sense. You want to keep it sheltered from the elements and everything like that, but that's not going to work. You put this inside a metal box, you're going to have no signal whatsoever.
Okay.
All right, you're just going to completely encase that signal.
Now
It's
these are weatherproof enclosures.
They do,
correct?
and for that reason, we do have a gasket that comes with it that goes on the outdoor unit, so that you can mount this out on the wall and not have to worry too much about the weather and everything like that. So you want to keep the outside unit, the satellite module, outside of the condensing unit.
Okay.
So those are the first two things. The other thing we recommend is signal strength wise. These are actually a little bit directional. Okay. So with these, you have the antenna is actually this kind of squiggle trace you can see at the top of this board on this red thing here. And directionally, these transmit a lot stronger in the axis coming straight out the front and also straight out the back. So in this axis right here, they have a really strong signal. Out the side and out the top, not so much.
Okay.
So when at all possible, if you can kind of get them more kind of face-wise to each other, even if they're back-to-back or face-to-face, if you can get them more face-wise to each other, you're going to have a lot stronger signal.
Gotcha.
If you have them far apart and they're kind of like edge on edge to each other, that's going to be your worst-case scenario.
Okay.
All right? So whenever you can get them closer and get them kind of facing each other, that's going to be better. And then the other thing that happens sometimes is hidden metal components that you don't really necessarily think of. So first of all, if you have like a unit where instead of transmitting on a residential application, you're typically going to have the condensing unit sitting outside.
Okay.
Well, I've seen some applications where it might be like a light commercial building where the condensing unit might be on the roof.
Yes.
If there's a metal roof, that's going to be trouble.
Right.
We're not going to be able to transmit through that metal roof very
Now, what about concrete? I mean, is concrete okay? Because I know we get that a lot.
Concrete can vary. It kind of depends on. Concrete can be troublesome.
Okay.
In a lot of cases, it depends more on how much reinforcing is in that concrete. If there's a lot of reinforcing wire and a lot of rebar in that concrete, you could have trouble transmitting through it.
Right.
If it's not very heavily reinforced, you'll probably be okay. But concrete does hold a fair amount of moisture, especially newly constructed.
Yeah.
After several months, the concrete dries out more, and you can transmit better through it. But but that's one thing we see. The one that's probably the most common that surprises people the most is stucco. All right. So stucco houses, there's not many of them around here in Indianapolis, but we do see them from time to time, probably more in the Southwest. But a lot of times stucco, underneath that stucco is a metal lath, almost like a chicken wire mesh under that stucco, which is almost a perfect Faraday cage. And you're going to have a really, really hard time transmitting through that. Anytime we hear people say no, this shouldn't be a problem, it's just stucco. That's a big problem.
Okay.
So stucco can be very problematic for wireless transmission of any kind.
That's good to know.
So as far as doing any kind of troubleshooting, like I said, if you're getting these confirmation signals, the units are communicating to each other.
Right.
Definitely communicating. If for some reason you're getting those and you're not getting the output you think you are, the first step is just like any other things we're talking about, you want to check your inputs and your outputs with a multimeter. See where you have 24 volts at.
Yeah.
Make sure you have 4 channels here, 3 send channels here, and 3 receive channels here. So if you got 24 volts coming into a send channel on the base module, you should have that same 24 volts coming out of your that same channel, receive channel on the satellite module.
Gotcha.
And then that should go, if we're just talking about a single stage condensing unit, that'd be going to a contactor probably. Right. So you're going to have that going to one leg of the contactor, and the common from that the 24 volt common there going to the other leg of your contactor. That's a common thing I see as well.
Awesome. Well,
There's a little bit of miswiring.
Awesome. That's great to know. I mean, anything else you want to tell us about the IO WR?
So one thing you can do. So if one thing that is a definite thing, if you lose communication, you're going to see something like this. Let's see if I can get it to do it here. It'll take a second. All right, so we've gotten solid red here.
Okay.
So that indicates a loss of signal.
Okay.
It means it's attempted to send its signal and not gotten a confirmation back.
Okay.
In this case, it's because I powered down the satellite module. But if you have too much interference and they're not getting through, you'll see that solid red light on both of them.
Gotcha.
It does, however, indicate that they are paired. It's just not seeing its other half of the pair, right?
Okay.
So if you're having trouble linking them, one thing we always recommend doing, just to confirm that the units are set up properly,
Okay.
is we actually recommend you can bring the satellite module inside and set them up on a table like this or something and actually pair the units up side by side. So you can make sure they're communicating with each other like that. Once you do that, they do retain their addressing, okay? Even
Okay.
if they power down. They have a non-volatile memory. So once you power it down, take it back outside, it should retain its memory,
Yeah,
its
it
addressing.
remembers,
right?
okay.
And you won't have to relink it. If you do have to relink them, there is a procedure for that. You'll want to do the reset. So the reset is, let's see if I can do this here.
So there's a reset button on both the
Well,
satellite
yeah, well,
module
it's
and
not
the
strictly a reset button, but if basically we're going to hold the button down while we reapply power, and you'll
Okay.
see that fast blink there,
Okay.
and then I'm going to let it go, and now we have a slow red blink over here. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this module. It's powered down. I'm going to hold the button and apply power. You get a fast blink, and it'll go to a slow blink here in a second. There you go, and then release it. So now they're both unlinked. All
Okay.
right, they're both got that slow blink. And then to relink, you just press and release the button on the satellite module only.
Satellite module only.
Yep.
Okay.
And there they go. They're relinked, and we should see that red flicker here in a second.
All right. Very cool.
So those are generally the things we want to look for. There's the red flicker. So
There we go.
One, keep them off of metal.
Yes.
Keep them out of metal enclosures, and when possible, try to get them face towards each other.
And say
Those are
no
the
to
main
stucco.
things. Say no to stucco.
That's right.
Exactly.
Awesome. Elijah, thank you for coming on. And again, if you have any questions on this product, you can always call us directly at 888-652-9663. Elijah's one of the guys that'll hop on there and help you out while you're out in the field. So again, I'm JD Brake. This is Elijah Montgomery for Field Engineering. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to smack that like button below. And if you want notifications on brand new videos that are coming out tailored just for you, be sure to subscribe right here to the Jackson Systems YouTube channel. Now, if there's some videos you missed, you can always check it out right here. Go ahead and click subscribe. Other videos, like, do it.